I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami, Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother.
Great Mother speaks to us in raw, realistic, and righteousness. Great Mother speaks to those of us who are most alienated from her unconditional love due to our birth mother experience. Here, welcome to Great Mother
Hi,
Speaks
everybody.
to
I know
us
it's been a while,
in
but
raw,
I have
realistic,
really
and
missed
righteousness.
you. I hope everybody's doing
Great
well
Mother speaks
and that this eclipse season is just blessing you, blessing you, blessing you. If you don't feel that it is, these readings are for you. Now, of course, with eclipses, they are relevant for 6 to 18 months during the eclipse period. And, I tell you that if you really want to keep up with what Great Mother is doing, you need to go to mamadramatrauma.info. That's where I've been spending most of my time with the support group and the deck that's coming out. And remember, Great Mother created this deck for us to heal. It's a process. Everybody has their own process. I know I've been living in loving detachment from my mother for 13 years. And this eclipse brought up so much for me still. It takes a while. And so the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck has been having classes. We've been having support groups online and in my community. And so it's been awesome. So I'll get videos up when I can. Great Mother inspired me to share these videos with you. But before I do, what came up for me is that even after 13 years of working with my divinity identity, of being a dearly loved child of the Great Mother Father God. Now say it with me, those of you who've been watching for a while. And those of you who haven't, this channel is Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck that is designed for people with mama drama trauma, a condition in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. In cases where she is unwilling, unable, and unavailable to heal her own trauma, because it is a cycle, in order for the child to be healed, she must or he must learn to live in loving detachment. Okay? Accepting the mother that we have, letting go of the mother that we want so we can accept the one we have. That's when we know that we're healed from MDT. But sometimes even when we're healed from things, we can have little, things that come up. You may have had a hip surgery and you're fine, you can walk, your hip's not broken anymore, but every once in a while when it rains, it might get sore. We're triggered as well. And eclipses have a tendency to do that because they're all about balance. They occur to balance the Earth's biosphere, the animal kingdom, our waters, our internal waters were made up of at least 70 to 80% water. It's a balancing mechanism that Great Mother Father God have for us to sustain life on this planet. Things get out of balance, right? And so it happens internally as well. Everything starts from spirit before it's manifested in physical form. So the moon and the sun do their thing. And so, long story short, with what happened to me, starting with the new moon, what came up for me, and this is what the solar eclipses, it always happens in the new moon. Solar eclipses reveal to you inner wisdom that we have been denying, we've been ignoring, we've been minimizing, that we haven't prioritized for whatever reason. There's no judgment, no condemnation, no tea, no shade, but it's something important that we have not looked at. Okay? And so that's what solar eclipses do. They bring up what needs to be brought up for us to acknowledge for our highest good. And then they're followed with the lunar eclipse that is all about who we truly are. So we have the solar eclipse, it's about who we think we are, but then the solar eclipse really shows us what we really need to know that's going on with who we are. And then the lunar eclipse is telling us what needs to be released in order for us to fulfill our true identity, in order for us to fulfill who our soul is. So what came up for me during the solar eclipse was that I needed to pay attention to how I was communicating to people. I needed to really pay attention to my perception of what people were saying to me and how I was interpreting conversations, because I was just really getting short and really getting irritated a lot with people and feeling like I knew what they meant and this and whatever, and really getting triggered with a whole bunch of MDT, getting deep into that. And so I knew it was out of balance, but then when the solar eclipse came, it confirmed it. You need to pay attention to that. So in the interim since then, what this lunar eclipse has shown me, and I'll just give you an illustration. Me and my man went to the movies this past weekend. We went to go see that movie Crawl. It is crazy. Live in Florida. Had to see it. It's a good movie though. I didn't think it was going to be good, but it is. And has a lot of spiritual connotations. I wasn't expecting that. We were driving in the car and we were talking about a guest visiting, as we often have in Florida, and going back and forth about what we're going to do and everything when they came. And we were driving up to the theater or whatever like that, and he was like, okay, we're in the present now. We're in the present. We need to be in the present, so let's go. And I was like, what? You the one brought up the conversation about planning for the future. Now you're going to tell me, it's, you need to be in the present, like that, because I'm always telling him that. And so I thought he was bringing it back on me. And I snapped. And he looked at me like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Come on, let's go to the movie. We're in the present. And it came to me like that from Great Mother. That's what I meant, Tammy. That's what I meant. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that no more to people, because it's hurting you more. You see, he wasn't even paying no attention to what you're tripping on. But you were feeling so angry and so upset because you were interpreting it as judgment and condemnation. Like he's judging you for not being in the present, because that's what you was doing when you were telling him to be in the present. Girl, stop. You don't know what people are chilling. They're not coming at you like that. You coming at them like that. Stop. So, Great Mother is so merciful. It's so graceful. And I'm so grateful because that has taken such a load off my shoulders. Just not carrying that weight around of knowing what everybody's thinking. Anyway, Great Mother wanted me to share that with you because living and loving detachment is a process, and loving detachment is accepting what is. And what is what is. It is what we think it is in the moment, in the time. And we have to work with where we are. And so over 13 years, I've been in many places with accepting what is, accepting that my mother was an alcoholic, accepting that she didn't want to have a relationship with me, accepting that she couldn't accept me for who I am, accepting that, she judged me and condemned me for doing the voodoo, talking to Great Mother, accepting, it's a long journey of accepting what is. And this eclipse came up, and they normally come up during eclipses, by the way. Accept the fact that you are allowing yourself to be triggered by that judgment and condemnation from MDT, that blame. You're triggering yourself, girlfriend. Stop it. You've been conditioned to do that, but you don't have to keep on doing that. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. It's keeping you from enjoying your life. And I needed to bring that to your attention so that you can get in alignment with who you are. You are a dearly loved child of the Great Mother, Father, God, who's never judged, condemned, or left alone. Okay? So this reading for each of you, we're going to look at what the solar eclipse brought up for you, your moon sign. And check your moon sign calculator below. I know some of you watch based on your Western moon sign, but it is a 24-degree different with the Vedic in 24 degrees precession. So, for example, I am Gemini moon in the Western and Taurus moon in the Vedic because of the 24-degree difference. And it does make a difference if you really do intuit very strongly. The Jyotish is going to, in many cases, be more appropriate for you, but not necessarily, because there are obviously other aspects to your chart. So, with no further ado, I want you to realize that this reading will show you what came up for you and who you truly are in relationship to Great Mother's support of you at this time moving forward. The entire cosmos is supporting us uniquely and individually in ways that we cannot imagine. But through Great Mother Speaks, we'll have an idea. Come over to Mama Drama Trauma and join us. There's some very affordable classes. The new deck is going to be coming out, so you can pre-order, get into the tutorial so that you can do your own readings to gauge your own process. Thanks for watching. Okay, Aries moon sign people, this is 9th house energy for you. 9th house energy of release. What were you feeling during the solar eclipse? What came up for you in terms of who you thought you were is a sense of estrangement. You thought that you were estranged, you were alienated from your mother, from other mothers, from people who have a maternal relationship with you. You were feeling like who you were someone who was outside of that circle. Maybe an aunt, an adoptive mother having a closer relationship with a sibling or a step brother or sister than you, and you kind of feeling like you're kicked to the curb, or with the mother just kind of kicked to the curb, being ignored. And so what came up during that solar eclipse was a real internal sense of alienation. So you thought about yourself that you were alienated from the tribe, from the group. A real strong feeling came up about that. And in the interim to this full moon lunar eclipse, who you are and who you are being encouraged to be and align with is the one who is strong enough to accept how you feel about that. And I say strong enough for Aries moon sign people because you are very emotionally strong, very emotionally resilient. But this is creating a situation for you in which it's very difficult to see, for some of you, that everything really is okay. You know, those of you who already know that everything is okay, what Great Mother is wanting you to do is to really pay attention to why and how you know that. You know, how do you really know that everything is okay? It's not questioning it because it's not true. It's questioning it because she wants you to really, with this lunar eclipse, get in tune with your truth. And there is a truth there as to why things are okay. And she wants you to kind of allow that to soak into that truth, that you do know what you know, that you do have intuitive accuracy around this issue. This is a confirmation of that yes, there is alienation. Yes, there is kind of this being pushed off. And there's not a judgment or condemnation as to why. There are many reasons there are many manifestations of MDT. The reason for MDT, Great Mother teaches, is that it is a soul contract for us to evolve in self-love and spiritual independence. That's a soul evolutionary process that manifests in many ways. You know, it can be expressed as a mother who's a workaholic, or she's a single mother, she has to work, or you have a sick sibling who requires more attention than you, mentally or physically. It could be any number of reasons. She's a drug addict. She could be dead. It can manifest in many, many ways. But somehow this strong Aries moon, particularly now with this being in your 9th house, there's a higher knowing within you that everything is okay, and Great Mother wants you to tap into the details of why everything is okay, because she wants you to let that soak into your heart, because it's true. And what you want is to be sure that you own your intuition. There's some people around you, there's some situations around you that are making you question whether or not everything is okay. And this is really upsetting you. And so you want that confirmation. You want to protect your sense of safety and your sense of security around this awareness. And Great Mother is supporting you in that. And that's why she's saying, you know, everything is okay. Even though circumstances or situations, people around you may not be confirming that in the way that you would like them to, since you know, you go into that inner space with me and let's journal how and why you know that everything is okay as an affirmation for you. Because what's supporting you is this emotional processing. The energies in the cosmos right now are supporting you to do this processing work, this emotional processing work. That Mars right now is in Cancer in your emotional 4th house. And so Mars rules Aries. And so you have all of this support to do this processing. And in the Vedic, that is, in the Vedic, Gemini is Rahu is the North Node. That's where the solar eclipse was. But this 8th house energy with a K2 letting go, in the Vedic, that's what processing does. And the intestines are ruled by Mars as well. Okay, and so the gut chakra is ruled by Mars, Aries and Scorpio. And so you want to take advantage of that support, because what happens when you are healthy enough to process your food? You release it. And so it's the same thing with our emotions. When we are healthy enough, and what's going to make you healthy is to do this affirmation work within yourself to process those emotions, and that's going to support you in releasing the toxicity of those doubts and that alienation that came up for you during the solar eclipse. Now, your present state of ego soul alignment is that you're not so sure about all of this. This sounds good, Great Mother, but I'm not so sure whether or not I'm ready to do this at this time. And so the normally strong emotional Aries is having doubts around this because it is painful. I don't care how strong we are. When we experience mama drama trauma, it is a trauma. It is soul alienation. That's the definition of trauma. You know, when the soul is alienated from the body, you know, we are not able to protect ourselves. Despite all of our maneuvers and manipulations, despite all of our military training, despite whatever, something crazy happened. Our worst nightmare happened. And it traumatizes us because we don't feel safe in our bodies anymore. The soul doesn't feel safe in the body anymore. And so there is some self-doubt about that. And what Great Mother is saying is that you need to question that doubt. And again, questioning that doubt through the practice of, I know everything is going to be okay. Even though I doubt, everything's going to be okay because I know that I have the ability to take care of myself. Everything's going to be okay because I know I have the ability to self-mother myself. I go to the park. I fix good meals for myself. I pay attention to how I feel. I know everything is going to be okay because all of my needs are always met. I know everything's going to be okay because I'm healthy. I'm really happy outside of this, and I really am beginning to feel whole. That's why I don't want to let go of my intuition. I want my intuition, and people keep on challenging me on what I know. And so that's where our energy gets bound, like we have something bound in our gut and we can't process it. So we have emotional bounding as well. And so doing this work is going to process it so that you can alleviate that and release the self-doubt of your higher knowing, which is where this eclipse is occurring. Why your soul wants to do this work is to liberate itself from this bondage, being emotionally bound to the past, feelings of alienation. You have a sense that it's not going to change, and that's why on another level you feel really blessed because at least now you can move on. At least now life can go on. I've accepted that this situation is not going to change. Let me move on. And so there's a sense of liberation and of emancipation that your soul wants you to feel. This is why it wants you to accept your feelings, accept how you feel, accept the estrangement, accept the alienation, accept the rejection, accept the dejection. It is what it is. Does it have anything to do with me? I have not been perfect. We don't want to forget that part. It takes two to tango. However, when there is consistent and persistent abuse, then we have a traumatic situation going on. And we have a cycle of abuse when we begin to see that there is no confirmation whatsoever of our divinity and no acknowledgement of the pain or abuse that is being thrust upon us. No recognition, no nothing. Forget about validation, but completely a rejection of our feelings. And so we have to accept our own feelings. And that is what you are struggling to do at this time. And the energies are supporting you to process that so that you can trust your inner wisdom. How your soul wants to do that is by you actually, again, Great Mother is saying, taking in your knowledge about your divinity and why you're here. You're not here to suffer MDT. You're here to evolve through it and live beyond it with the awareness and the blessings that it brings. It brings great blessings in self-love, as you are noticing now with emancipation, just as Dorothy did when she came home and realized what? After she ran away, there's no place like home. There's no place like my heart. We don't know whether or not Miss Gulch was still alive and she'd come back and try to take Toto or whatever, but Dorothy didn't care because she had been on a journey that taught her there's no place like home. As long as I'm at peace with myself, this woman can act as crazy as she wants to. But at the end of the day, everything's going to be okay. Because I've been on a journey that proved that to me. I've been on a crazy journey that I wouldn't have gotten through without the aid that came to assist me. So why would it stop? That's the liberation. That's the liberation, knowing that it never stops. We're eternal beings. It's not just this situation. We have many soul contracts. We got a life. We got other lives to live. We have other lessons to learn. This ain't it. It feels like it until it's not. So your outcome in working with accepting your feelings, accepting your blessings, the ruby red slippers symbolizing your health, happiness, wholeness, as you accept feelings of alienation as your gateway to, hey, I feel alienated, but I'm blessed because I know that things are going to work out. Your outcome is going to be Mayat. Mayat is the scales. This is this third eye, higher knowing of justice. Justice will be served. It's not about knowing what the outcome will be in this card. In this case of when the three and Dorothy returned and they were really upset with Oz because he was just a man and they were demanding their request. I want a brain. I want a heart. I want courage. What about Dorothy and going home? The journeys that we take are about the integrity that we have to our inner wisdom and our inner knowing. And it is allowing that to be its own reward. Because we can't imagine the outcome on a reward like that. It's always greater. As Dorothy and the three realized in their journey. Thanks so much for watching, sharing, and liking, but above all, and most of all, Taurus moon sign people. Aries moon sign people, sorry. Remember, Aries moon sign people, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter.